Hello. Today we'll be speaking about our observations when we interviewed small business owners in our community. We'll discuss several things including how they got started, things they did right, things they wish they didn't do, the lessons learned from their experiences, and most important, what advice they have to offer to an aspiring entrepreneur. But first, allow us to introduce ourselves. My name is Jose Mayer, and I'll be sharing my experience interviewing Mr. Stevens, the owner of an independent auto dealer in Miami. I'll talk about how he started his venture with little business experience and watched it grow over the years.
Hello, my name is Danny Reynolds, and I will be reviewing some valuable business advice that I received from an entrepreneur here in Eaton, Ohio. He accidentally worked his way from a manufacturing career to a thriving small business.
Hi, my name is Justin Deal, and I will be talking about my interview with Kevin Deal, owner and operator of Springbrook Farm. I will be discussing how he acquired and grew his business, mistakes he made, and key advice on successful ownership of a small business.
Hi, my name is Sarita Harris, and I'll be talking about a Muslim seamstress who started her business from home and decided to take things to the next level by opening up a storefront, not only to her family and friends, but to the public as well.
Rod Creech was working his typical 7 to 3:30 manufacturing job at a local facility near his home. He decided to start providing lawn care for several of his friends and family so he could have a little extra cash in his pocket. Surprisingly, he found that his services were widely valued as his business began to grow. He realized that he could no longer meet the needs of his small business customers and continue his manufacturing job. So, with much hesitation, he decided to quit his job, take a $20,000 pay cut, and pursue a small business. Now he services over 1,900 lawns and has 9 full-time employees, as well as a general manager who runs the office. One of the positive steps that Mr. Creech took to protect the longevity of his business was to change his business structure. His business started as a sole proprietorship, and he realized that if something happened to him, the business would be lost, and he would be totally liable for the failed business. So he changed his business structure to a limited liability company to better protect himself. Another productive step that Mr. Creech took was to commit to doing what he said he would do. He realized that a lot of companies in lawn service didn't meet their commitments, and by making sure he met his commitments, he gave his business a competitive advantage over his competitors. With this advantage, his business grew quickly, and it created a real challenge as his company's growth was more than he could handle. As his company grew an average of 23% each year, he realized that he had to plan for growth and stay ahead of his customers' needs. Predicting the need for expansion proved difficult, but helped him understand to always plan ahead. This business provided Mr. Creech with some valuable lessons, including, if you are willing to hire friends, you have to be willing to fire friends if they aren't willing to follow your direction and meet your expectations. He also explained that getting business loans isn't difficult if you show that you have a plan on how to use the loan and how you will be able to pay the money back. You must have a plan.
Elements gathered from interview with owner of auto dealership. How he got started. Mr. Stevens never thought of owning his own business until he was laid off from his previous job. He worked for a nationally recognized advertising company specializing in automobile advertising. He was very successful for many years, but after the company made several significant changes, including territory restructuring, quota adjustments, and a revised compensation plan, did Mr. Stevens start to think about employment options outside his company. Inevitably, the decision to part ways was made for him. The company implemented severe cost-cutting measures which included the downsizing of staff. Mr. Stevens was laid off after several years of loyal and successful service. Initially, he did not think of starting his own business. He simply thought of going to work for another company as a salesperson and picking up where he left off. It wasn't until he started speaking with some of his loyal clients and asking them questions, similar to the questions I asked him during our interview, that he really considered going into business for himself as an independent auto dealership. He never imagined the opportunities that lay right in front of him. He was pleased with what he learned by talking with his clients and surprised to learn how successful some of them were. Productive steps taken. As a former advertising professional with years of knowledge and experience on how to effectively market automobiles, Mr. Stevens implemented several successful marketing techniques including website design and optimization, search engine optimization or SEOs, and promotional events. Challenges faced. Finding qualified personnel. With virtually no experience in operating and managing his own business, Mr. Stevens faced challenges with respect to hiring qualified personnel. Initially, he hired individuals that were recommended to him by friends and family. He did not focus on their experience and background as he was overwhelmed with the daily responsibilities of owning your own business. Limited capital. Initially, his business was self-funded. He invested a major portion of his savings to start the business. He was limited to the amount of inventory he could purchase by the amount he had in his bank account. He struggled to meet demand as his supply was not meeting expectation. Overwhelming work schedule. It was common for Mr. Stevens to work 14 and even 16-hour days in the beginning. He also had to travel to attend auto auctions throughout the state. This affected his personal life significantly. He struggled to balance work and home life in the early days of his business, but luckily had the support of family to help him through. Lessons learned. Take time to hire qualified personnel. Take painstaking efforts to hire qualified personnel that meet the criteria and responsibilities assigned to them. Alternate funding solutions. Prepare a business plan to apply for an SBA loan that can infuse the business with added capital for purchasing additional inventory. Balance home and work schedule. Make an effort not to take your work home with you. Prepare a work schedule and stick to it as best you can.
Steps taken. The farm was a family business that had been in the family since 1822. Kevin was adopted in 1964 and was raised on this farm, working on it alongside his father as far back as he can remember. He told his dad as he approached adulthood that he wanted to continue farming. His father died in 1991, and half the farm was set up in a trust to go directly to him and the other half to his mother. He then bought his mother's half of the farm in 1994 and has been farming it ever since. Positive steps taken. The farm changed a great deal over the years. Agriculture is not an easy business. When he took over the farm, it was only 300 total acres. Since then, he has rented more farmland along with that he owns and now farms well over 500 total acres. He also needed to diversify a lot to make ends meet. At the time when he first took over the farm, he had 16 acres of apple trees, about 10 beef cattle, and grew hay just for his own use. The rest of the land was used for crop farming, such as field corn and soybeans. He began to strategize how he could make more income to make his business more profitable because he was basically just breaking even. He decided to plant more hay as he discovered there was a large market in small hay bales in Maryland for horses. He planted several acres of hay, purchased a stack wagon, and began baling hay. A friend of his in Maryland introduced him to some folks who needed hay for their horses. He began delivering hay to them, and before he knew it, his client list continued to grow due to good hay and good service. He is at the point now where he has to turn away new customers. He also began managing a club calf sale, increased his commercial beef cattle herd to 100, got rid of the apple orchard, and began growing sweet corn and other produce that he sells directly from the farm. Challenges faced. In the beginning, he bought from many different salesmen, which caused some financial issues. He also bought more than what was needed to run his business, which also caused him some financial issues. Lessons learned. He learned to just purchase what was necessary to get by. while conducting his business to the best possible. His biggest lesson and piece of advice was that starting up a business costs a lot of money, and you should make sure that you are starting up one that has marketability. Most importantly, he said to have your family's support and to make sure you love what you are doing, in respect that you find yourself wanting to give 110% every day.
Advice from seamstress shop owner. How she got started. The owner name was Alicia Berry. Alicia was introduced to religion about 3 years ago and thought it was best for her to start making her own overgarments to distinguish herself from other Muslim women. Began as a home-based business. Alicia then started making garments for her family and friends. It became too much for her home, having everyone's garments laying around her house. That's when she decided to open up a store to all Muslim women, not just family and friends. Encouraging steps taken. Finding a location. Alicia explained to me that finding a location was important because she had to find an area where the Muslim population was high. She did find a great storefront across the street from a Muslim church, also known as a masjid. Building clientele. The clientele became easy because after church service, the women would come across the street and see what she was selling. Turning to social network. Turning to social network was how she kept her clientele, using a system called Instagram. For those who do not know what Instagram is, it's a social network where it allows people to post photos and for others to like it or comment on it. Alicia asked her customers to purchase an item, and after they purchased the item, to place it on Instagram, letting their friends know where they purchased that item from. And after she did see it on Instagram, the next time they shopped with her, they received a percentage off. Obstacles faced. Working with family and friends, not going to school, not having sponsors for her business because she started everything on her own, using her own money out her pocket, and just starting from scratch by herself, and having the grand opening too soon. She had put a sign outside her store saying it would open at one specific date, and even though she wasn't ready, she didn't want to let the public down by not opening at that time. So she did open at that time and did not have a lot of product that she needed, all the product that she needed. Lessons learned. You cannot jump into things too fast, and you must seek qualified employees, and also employees who want to work and be there.
Each of us received a great deal of valuable advice from all the business owners we interviewed. Someone who's interested in starting their own business can surely benefit from the insight and advice they all had to offer. Some of the most notable pieces of advice were: hope for the best, but prepare for the worst. Always be prepared for the unexpected. Keep a reserve of funds for emergencies and unanticipated expenses. Cherish every little victory. Take time to reflect and learn from your accomplishments. Little victories add up to big success. Every small step gets you closer to reaching bigger goals.
Start a small business doing something you love. You have to put in a lot of effort as a business owner to make it a success. And if it isn't something you love to do, it will be difficult to apply the effort it takes to grow and maintain your business.
Rely on support from family. It takes an entire family unit to successfully own and operate a business. It helps to have support with tough decisions and understanding with the long hours involved.
The advice that Alicia gave me was to think things through. Don't just jump into things. Make a business plan. Have someone look over it and give you their opinion. Consult with a successful business partner. Ask them what steps did they take to get where they are today. At this time, our group, Group 4, would like to thank you for watching our presentation. We had a lot of information to offer, and we hope you gained something from it. Thank you.